The road to the lovely city of Odense is coming to an end for some, and today that will continue to be the story as we do look to send 2 more teams home and 2 teams even further. Guys, we have to look at this in a way that makes sense. It's all come down to this. The semifinals are upon us here in the tech capital of the northern part of Europe, and my name is Trey Stunnasaranthus. I will be your host. Welcome back, Odense. We've missed you. My goodness, I would not try to do this by myself. Wouldn't even think about doing it by myself. We've got to start with the teams. We've got to start with Astralis Liquid. We've got to start with MIBR and mousesports. Not in that order, of course, but both of these teams, all 4 of these teams, having made pretty decent case for as to why they've made it to the playoffs. As have my analysts. Of course, we do have Natu and Pimp to the left. And guys, it's going to be a day for Counter-Strike, I think.
It sure is. I think we have 2 very capable matchups of being good. Obviously, going into Astralis mousesports, that's going to be a banger, I think. Mousesports really have something to prove against Astralis. It's not been looking good as of lately. Whereas MIBR Liquid, I feel that's a 50-50.
Yeah, I think mousesports Astralis might be closer than you might initially think, and the maps are heavily favoring Astralis in terms of wins, but they've been really, really close. ECS finals, for example, it were games where they were just in basically within a couple of hills here and there, considering they were like 16-13 type of maps. So I think this is going to be spicy for sure.
It could very well be spicy, and I said I couldn't do it alone. Couldn't do it without these guys, couldn't do it without you, and in fact, that's what we're going to do. We're also going to bring in the rest of the family here. We do have some commentators down there on the floor. Harry, I almost didn't see you in your camouflage, but he's also there with Hugo. Odense, make some noise for your commentators.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy down here, I think it's fair to say. We have a couple of Astralis fans in the house, and yeah, from all across Denmark, they've come out, they're in full force. Hugo, how you feeling?
I think any mousesports fans here are going to be greatly overwhelmed, Harry.
Yeah, that certainly seems to be the case. Trace, we'll give this one back to you over on the desk.
Thanks a lot, Harry. It does sound like they might be taking over down there. They might be grabbing a hold of you 2 and just kind of taking you out of there soon. It's a pretty, pretty wild environment down there for Hugo and Harry. Can they handle it by themselves?
Nah, probably not.
I was going to say, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I think it's going to get wild. Obviously, Denmark is a Counter-Strike crazy country right now. I mean, for a reason, obviously, because Denmark has been pretty good at the game of CS in the past couple of years.
Yeah, we're number 1.
Yeah, we do have a resident Dane. Well, let's go ahead and take a look out there and into the brackets. We do have the playoffs. We are barreling down, and we are getting to the home stretch. Now at the semifinals, yesterday we saw 2 quarterfinals going down between mousesports and Renegades, and then Liquid and Navi. Now you can take a note as to who has found their way through that, and it's going to be the likes of Liquid and mousesports.
I think it's fair to mention Renegades, though, from yesterday. I think they had a very good showing against mousesports. It's one of those scenarios where you think to yourself, right, Renegades coming in against mousesports in a quarterfinal at a big event, there should be no chance of them winning it. But the fact of the matter was that yesterday, Renegades should have won that game against mousesports. They were leading, I believe, 14-11 on second map after winning the first one. So they had all opportunities, all possibilities of actually securing them a spot in the semifinal. A little bit sad to see they couldn't pull it off, but then again, mousesports is a team of quality, especially Oscar on your screen right here. He had one hell of a game yesterday.
It's tough to play when you're playing against players that have that X factor in the type of Oscar, just bring the numbers when need be and kind of pulling that weight when your team is not necessarily playing so well together. Sure. I think actually Renegades were the ones that were showcasing us all those win conditions that they needed to have to win. Playing smart type of Counter-Strike, they were really, really playing well off of one another, trading effectively and taking the right choices mid rounds, which is unfortunate for them that Oscar really did come through and he literally dragged mousesports into the semifinal.
I mean, his numbers at the end of that series were one thing, but the numbers of JKS, Mr. Justin Savage, definitely making a case here in Odense as to why he reigns supreme as the Australian Shroud. This kid has definitely put some fire downrange at this event.
I think he's better than Shroud, to be quite honest with you. I think JKS is...
How dare
I mean, that's just the way it is, Trace. JKS is a talent that has been going on for some time, I feel. It sort of feels like he's wasted some of that time in Renegades. I think he has potential to do like what he's been doing this tournament more frequently. It hasn't been, too consistent coming out of him. So I think we need to see this more. And there were talks about him joining Cloud9 at one point. There were talks about him joining Liquid at one point. So it's definitely a player that the NA scene is very familiar with.
I think he's got rejuvenated by the fact that they've now changed lineups. I think it's been obviously a big change, bringing in new players from Australia or one from New Zealand, but still from the Oceanic region. And it feels like that whole team is actually playing a better Counter-Strike than they ever were with the older lineups. So I think that's showcasing also JKS really is flourishing, and he's showcasing why we've been embracing him, why do we think that he's such a great player.
Well, the rejuvenation can't stop there. It has to continue for at least mousesports as they do look to birth themselves into this final. It's going to be a long road for them. But we did have the opportunity to hear from them directly. Let's go ahead and check them out and see what they had to say.
mousesports came close against the Renegades yesterday, and now they've kind of got the final boss here in Astralis to try and take down. I've got LMBT, the coach of mousesports, with me again. Now, the Renegades game wasn't easy. I spoke to you. You weren't impressed at all with kind of how the things were going. You expected it to be a bit of an easier affair, right? So going into Astralis, what have you guys and the team been going through?
I mean, it's a little different matchup. Let's start from that, right? And I'm pretty sure, and I hope, that we'll start playing from a first map. Not from a second one, and not from a second half of second map, you know? If we can get a good start, I'm pretty sure we can do good.
Now, yesterday, right, we saw players be able to step up and bring you guys over to the edge that time around, but against Astralis, okay, you can't make mistakes like that, right? So how much were you guys doing last night and this morning in order to get ready for it and make sure you're fully prepared?
I mean, let's be honest, we played only a week ago in, where was it? Dallas? So we played only a week ago in Dallas. It was a really close match. We understood there, at least, that they're not robots, same as us, right? Everyone is doing mistakes, we're humans in the end, so it obviously depends who will make more of those, but that's why they're #1 right now, because they're making less, right? So we'll see in this match, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it, to be honest.
Now, the benefit you have is there's lots to prepare for when you look at Astralis, right? They are making it all the way. They've got a very deep map pool, but what do you think is the mousesports that will deliver today that can take them down? What is your kind of last spot that you go, yes, we've got this that can beat Astralis?
I mean, I think that the key here is not even the map pool. We're playing against the home stadium. So if we can get to their heads, not the stadium, but Astralis heads, right? Then we might have a chance, because they're under pressure of home crowd, Intel Grand Slam, and stuff like that, right? So if we can have a good start, then everything could happen, yeah.
Well, let's hope you do have a good start. I'm looking forward to a good game. Thank you very much, LMBT, as always. mousesports, always confident, always ready. Let's see how they do against Astralis.
Yeah,
Lovely,
mousesports definitely showing that they are going to have that little bit of vulnerability when it comes to playing in front of you, Udensa. But they do know what they have to do. They do have a big order here, a big tasking ahead of them. Just like the second tasking of the day, it's going to be Liquid and MIBR squaring off in our second best-of-3, the second semifinal. And that one, I think, is definitely a slugfest.
I think that's going to be a great game as well. I mean, just a positive trajectory for MIBR in the last, basically when Janko joined in, you know, it feels like the work ethic is back in there. Maybe MIBR got a little, I don't know, you know, they kind of, the players were not maybe working enough to an extent in terms of, you know, maybe Fallen was too alone with the tactical type of things in the team, and Janko bringing another brain in there to help them out and kind of whipping the boys to make sure that they're using those hours wisely. So that's a good thing. Obviously, Liquid now, yesterday, just giving a spanking to Navi. Let's be honest here. I mean, that was very, very one-sided affair. That discussion, for me at least right now, is that Liquid is probably the second best team in the world. So I think those are some great ingredients for a phenomenal match.
Add into that the whole story with Taco. Exactly a year ago, he was playing here in Odense with the MIBR guys and winning the entire tournament against FaZe Clan. So he knows this guy very, very well. Obviously, he got kicked or decided to leave from that team. I'm not sure which one it was, but now he's back with Team Liquid. As you said, you know, they're looking better than ever, I would say. It's a team that's been going steadily upwards as well. We did see in Malta a week ago that they got that first win, and I think that's going to energize Liquid and make them believe just a little bit more that they're able to take down teams like MIBR and potentially Astralis in a final.
Yeah, and just like you're saying along that storyline, yes, he was here under a different jersey, under a different banner. There is some of that might come into play today as well. There is a little bit of psychology behind that, a little bit of mental games that come into these certain series or certain